Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another weekly reading for Intuitive Flowers and the moon reading too. I'm Susan Jane. I am going to be running this today and let you know that like, subscribe, send a little message in, let me know you're seeing it and everything's working okay. Now, let me bring up the comments. So this week we're into, let me get this through here. So this week we're into the new moon. The new moon is tonight, tomorrow night type thing, and then we head into the waxing crescent. Now, the waxing crescent is all about the moonlight increasing, obviously, and the soil starts to release its nutrients. It starts to let things go, which means the energy then is starting to draw up. And we have an increase in growth. So this week, when we're talking about planting to the moon, or planting to the moon, which is what I tend to do when I was doing that on the 90-acre organic crop farm that I had. Wow, I'm all tongue-tied this week. I wonder what that means. So this week when we're sowing, when we're actually planting anything, it's about the leaf crop this week. So next week it's more about the flowers and the fruit, but this week is definitely about leaf crops. So not just leaf crops, but also plants like that you would generally grow for their leaf. So such as your palms, you grow for their leaf, the ficus, you grow for the leaf, the different types of plants that you grow for their leaf. Where's the other one I've got? Oh, you're going to go over in the corner there. So it's all about leaf growth this week and how we can get that to up and running. So obviously when you're first starting to sow, when we've got that new moon coming through, it's allowing all that new energy to come through and grow, so to develop that way. So the other aspect of this week with the new moon and the waxing crescent, in our Trust Mastery program, it's all about self-awareness this week. So we talk about self-respect in the physical aspect, self-talk in the mental aspect, self-honesty in the emotional aspect, and self-trust in the spiritual aspect. Actually, I've changed it to self-reliance too. Now, the area we're looking at here is getting an understanding with Intuitive Flowers is about the background and history, knowledge, personality, and relationships. So that's what we're going to focus on today as far as your flower reading goes. Now, all you need to do is pick a number between 1 and 100, and we will do a quick flower reading for you. If you're on StreamYard, if you've given StreamYard permission, I can see who you are and I know where it's coming from. If you haven't done that, that's fair enough. No worries at all. At this stage, I have one I have to do first up, and that's for Celestial Angel 85, who was on YouTube last week, and I missed her. So I'm going to do hers, and she wanted number 99. So that will be my first reading for today. Again, we're going to focus on the self-awareness side of things for this week. So here is Celeste's picture. I really don't think I do this so well. I've got to update that a little bit more. Here we go. I'll lose all my confidence. So now I'm talking to myself. Okay, so here's Celeste's picture. Wow, I don't even remember taking that picture. Okay. All right, so what we're going to be looking at is all about the leaf growth and this, and it's the goals this week are health goals too. So that's what we want to put forward for this week. But the first thing we can look at is our self-respect in the physical context, and we can look at the history or the background. Now, this flower, the background is black, so it's saying that there's no background required for the goal going forward with this health goal. So you don't have to have that background. It's not all about where it's come from, what it's all about in that context. But we can look a little bit on the history. Now, the history of this flower, because it is a lily, it is grown for, there's somebody there. It is grown for, morning, 23, please. Okie doke. Where's that one come through from? I'll do number 23 in a minute. I don't know who the name is. It's coming through from my Facebook page. Okay, so this one, again, this is for Celestial Angel 85 on YouTube. So when we're starting to look at the self-respect in the background of this one, it is a cut flower. It is designed as a cut flower. It is grown. Is created as a cut flower, and it is to bring beauty and lovely scent. Not so much the yellow. Oh, it's Mel. Hi, Mel. I don't know why, but you're coming through as Susan Jane. You're coming through as me, Mel. I don't know why. Maybe you've linked in that way or somehow. But anyway, you're coming through as me. I don't know what's going on there. Sorry, Celestial Angel. This is still yours. We're getting a little bit confused here. So when we look at the self-respect side of it and the physical side of it, we're looking at the values and skills. So it is a cut flower. It is designed for that. So when we look at your values and skills, we say what you are, or who you are is what you're designed for. It's where you're going. It's what you're doing. So honor your skills, your integrity, honor your time, honor that aspect of it, because you have been there, you've been put there for a particular reason, and that is why. Just like this flower is grown for a reason, so are you. So that's what you're there. Be respectful of that, especially in a physical context. Acknowledge that you've worked hard to do that. Acknowledge that you've done this to achieve that, and be a lot more forgiving and loving of yourself in that side. When we start to look at the mental health, the self-talk is the mental aspect. When we look at the self-talk side of it, we look at knowledge and where the flower image actually is. And because yours is right in the center, your self-talk should be relatively general and good for you. Oh, hi, Bex. Hi, Janine. Whoa, everybody's there. Oh, sorry. I'll just finish this one off. Well, that sort of threw me because I thought it was going to be a real quiet one today. I thought I was going to sneak away early, but no, that's not going to happen, is it? Make sure you put your numbers down. Janine, you're 68. Cool. Bex, I haven't got yours yet. Okay, so self-talk, communication, you're good with self-talk. You don't have to be concerned about that this week. You're pretty good with that one. Personality. Now, personality is all about our self-honesty, and it's that emotional aspect for this week. So it's saying to be with the personality, we're looking at the size of the flower, and this flower is quite large. In fact, it doesn't fit in, as you can see down the bottom. So it's saying you need to have an extroverted personality. You need to be out there and saying things and expressing how you are and what you're feeling. With this sort of a personality, you need to be out there. So when we're looking at your health goals for this week, when we're looking about your self-awareness, put yourself out there. Now, if you are a natural extrovert, you're going to have no problems with that. However, if you're an introvert, that's going to be a bit challenging for you. So, but you need to do that. You need to get yourself out there and get yourself known. Is that what, just be out there. Okay. And as far as relationships go, with your self-trust and your spiritual aspect this week, be trustworthy to yourself and others will follow. And when we're looking at this, relationships are about how many flowers we have in the image. Obviously, we got one, although we do see there's a couple of little buds in the background there. But the main relationship is all about you and being in touch with you and who you are in that spiritual context. So really go down deep and have a look at it. When you're making your health goal this week, give yourself that little bit of time and space to sit down, have a bit of a meditation, get a bit of an understanding of it, even do a bit of visualization, put yourself out there and see where that goes from there. But that's yours, Celestial Angel. I do apologize for not seeing you last week, but that's yours for this week. So I'm turning that one off. Right. Okay. Sorry, guys. It was all of a sudden everybody jumped in all at once. It was a little bit, whoa. So Mel, yours was number 23. Yours was first. So I'll do yours. Where's your number? Oh, we've had this before. Was this one for you before, Mel? Hang on. Let me share it for you. Or otherwise, if you've been picking the same number, I'm going to have to start moving the numbers around, aren't I? Okay, Mel, this is yours. And again, we're looking at self-awareness. It's our health goals this week. It is the waxing crescent, the new moon coming through. So we're looking at leaf, mainly, it's leaf sowing. We're looking at health goals and their supportive goals. I'm going to step through them again because I feel that that's one way of you learning and understanding it as well. So that's why I'm going to do it this way. So The physical side, it's self-awareness this week, remember? The physical side is about self-respect. We talk about the background and the history of the flower. So the background we can see is pretty plain. You have got this other goal in the background here. So there is that element there. So there's two levels of your health aspect. But in general, you've got a very plain background. What we can also look like is the history of the flower. Now, this is the hollyhock. So this history of the flower, you'll find is it as it grows a big stalk, and then flowers will continue as they go up the stalk. You can see older ones there down the bottom, and you can see the new flowers budding as they go up. So as you're on your path and journey, you're going to be having these goals going through, opening, achieving, and falling away as you go, and they'll change as they go along. This is pretty continuous for you. And that's what it's saying as far as the physical aspect of your health goes in the background and the history. When we look at the mental aspect for self-awareness this week, we look at our self-talk. Now, knowledge, it is where the flower is situated. Now, when we look at your flower, your flower is to the right. The background one is to the left, but this one's going into the future. It's relatively in the center, so it's not necessarily high in the spirit side or in the future or in the past there. It's relatively you're coming into it. So this might not be this week. This is probably the week ahead. So I want you to get your health goals looked at this week. And as far as your self-talk and the communication goes, get that understanding there. But you're going to get the knowledge of it, the understanding of it, probably the following week. So with your self-talk, start to talk about it in a positive manner, in a it's here now manner. However, it's probably going to come through in the following week. The emotional is about the personality. We're looking at self-honesty. This flower image itself is in general the right size. You don't have to be extroverted. You don't have to be introverted. You're basically ambiverted. It's a balanced type of image. So when we're talking about your self-honesty, yes, you're very self-honest in that context, and you're going to be that same way this week. You don't need to be out there too much. You don't need to be hiding in your closet either. So that's that side of it. As a spiritual side, the self-trust that we look at relationships, and you have definitely got two there. There's something there in the background. There's that connection that you have with somebody close to you that will help you with your self-trust. They are going to give you that information that you need, that they're like-minded person. They're going to give you that information that you need just to make it feel a little bit stronger, make it feel a little bit more real for you. Now, if it's a health goal, you could be looking at somebody like a naturopath that's going to just bring it forward for you or help you in that way. It could be a doctor. It could be something else. It could just be somebody else who's like-minded, and it's more of an emotional health aspect. So we can look at it in that side of it. But there is somebody close by that will be, if they're in the background, you probably don't even need to talk to them. You'll get that information as you go through with them. So that's about your self-awareness this week. So the background, you know that these goals are growing up. The knowledge, you have the understanding that the clear understanding is coming in the future, week or two away. The self-honesty is about your personality. You are, in general, you're ambiverted. When you need to be out there, you will. When you don't, you don't. And you know that. You're really aware of that. And the self-trust is about relationships. And you have got that. It is an extra relationship. It's not a relationship just with yourself. There is somebody else there that will be helping you and guiding you this week. That's yours, Mel. Hope that makes sense. Wow, I went on, didn't I? Oopsie. Janine, number 68. You're like, oh, hi, Margie. It's lovely to see you. Put a number down, Margie, and I'll give you a reading. So, Janine, you're number 68. I can see yours. Here's yours now. And thank you for hanging around. And if you can't hang around, I understand that. Here's yours, Janine. Oh, hang on. Here it is. Let me share it for you. Share the screen. And here it is today. So I'm going to step through yours again today too. So I hope that's okay. I can't even see the whole picky on this one. Whoa, look at that. Oh, that is the whole picky. All right. Yeah, it is the whole picky. Okay, so the first part we're looking at, because this is all about your health goals too, it's a self-awareness to now trust mastery. So we're being really self-aware of it, and we're looking at the physical side, which is self-respect, and the background and the history. Now, with this background, we have got a very distinct background. The last two we didn't have a distinct background. This one we have. And when we look at this background, we can turn around and say, okay, there needs to be like-minded people. Now, we look at this as a field of flowers, like-minded people around you. So it's really important for your self-respect to get an understanding of your integrity, your time, your skills, is to have those people around you. And that is where you are going to really shine. So definitely in group situations here. However, it is all about you. You are there in the front, but the understanding of the self-respect comes, I guess, when you don't need to hear it from other people, but when you do, when you get that understanding and you see people doing things in that group situation, you sort of go, oh, it just makes you feel good. You get that lovely feel good, and that's really going to help you with your values and your skills this week. Okay, so you're getting a really clear understanding of that. The other aspect is we start to talk about the self-talk, which is our mental side of things, and it's about the knowledge where the actual flower image is situated in the flower. This is in the image. Sorry, the subject is in the image. We look at the flower, and yours is right in the very center. So yours is all about this week. It's coming through. It's happening now. You're right in the center of the image. So we don't have to worry about your self-talk. Your self-talk is fine. You're going to see from these other people in the background there, you're going to get a lot of feedback. And it might not be verbal. It might just be watching what somebody else does. It's picking up, say you were cleaning up after a group situation, like one of your networking events, or you're cleaning up and you see somebody else doing it. And that's when you're getting that understanding that they're seeing you and they're seeing your values and what you're doing, and they're helping you and they're sharing that. And that's how I really see that side of it. So self-talk, you don't have to worry about your self-talk this week. It's fine. You're going to be seeing things that are happening around you, and that's going to be helping that side of it. When we look at self-honesty, your personality with your self-awareness, you need to be a little bit more introverted this week. This is not about you being right out there in people's faces this week. It's a little bit quieter this week for you. So yes, you're going to be doing all the same things you might have done, but you don't need to be out there in people's faces. It's more of a quiet background work this week, just getting things done and working through it and being true and open with yourself. So if there is any emotional situations happening this week, you need that space around you to deal with it and sort through it this week. Okay, so just some time out. Even though you're doing the group thing, some little bit of time out as well will be really good to be able to assess those emotions as you're going through them. Now, self-trust is about relationships in this context, and there's lots there, okay? We've got this lovely little new one coming through too, so there's something happening there. We look at this is a field of flowers. So again, with this concept and your self-awareness, there is going to be people coming through your life. Just think of a field of flowers. In a field of flowers, you have them all coming up on their own, and they all live and die and move on, and, are there and they're not, that sort of aspect all the time. But there's always a field of flowers. So when it's happening, you don't see the movement and the changes with people in there. And that's how you're going to be this week. There's going to be changes this week that are coming through in those relationships, but you're not going to notice it so much in the fact there's always something else there to pop in. So if one person doesn't turn up, there's somebody else that's going to be turning up. If they drop out, there's someone else going to be turning up. So there's this constant evolving happening in that side of it. And you need to trust that process. You need to allow that to happen. Don't get stressed out about it. Don't be concerned about it. This week, allow that process to happen. So that's another area that you can look at there too. So that is yours That was yours, Janine. Okay. Bex, I still haven't got a number from you. I'll have to do a random one. And Maggie, I haven't got a one from you either. So perfect. Talking to someone this afternoon about emotional intelligence methodology to make sure it's spot on for mental health aspects. Oh, okay. So that, I would believe that one is probably, I'm not sure who that one is. Sometimes I don't get names in here, guys, so I can't sort of work that out. But Bex, you haven't given me a number, so I'm going to give you a number. Thank you for being on. I'll do a random pick for you. And then I'll do a random pick for Maggie if she hasn't come on either. So I like doing this because the little machine here does it for me. Because one of the things I hate doing is actually picking the numbers for you. I like picking, I really don't like doing that. Oh, stop it, go away. Randomize, yes. Okay, so it's working. So Bex, this is yours. 81, okay? Bex is 81. Yeah, one thing I don't like doing is actually picking the numbers because I feel like it's not it's not about my intuition. It's about your intuition. That's why I like you to pick the numbers. Share screen, and here we go, Bex. This is yours. How gorgeous is that, right? Beautiful. Hey, isn't it funny how we're talking about background this week, and yet so far, how many have we done? 4. This is the 4th one, and only one has had actually a background in it. All the rest have been relatively plain. So and I don't have a lot that are plain. So you were all picking all the right numbers this week. So Bex, this is yours. Now, I'm going to walk through it again. I know it's a little bit long, but it's helping me, allowing me to get my head around it too, because I'm trying to get some continuity going through, because getting that continuity does actually help my I guess as students, my students that are taking on the online courses that I do. So I had another one book up yesterday actually, for the tools to develop your intuition. So she's booked up in there. So that's lovely. I'll be able to connect with her too. All right. So self-awareness today. This is about background and history. We look at our self-respect again. The background, the actual background of the image is not important. The flower history can have a lot of relevance to it. And again, this is the rose, and it's a long stemmed, it's a single rose. It is grown for a particular reason. When we look at roses are one of the one of the most used flowers. The reason why the roses are there, we can use them in rose hip jams and teas, so we can use their fruit. We use their blossoms. They're grown in so many different ways. The oils that we use from them, they're one of the most expensive oils because it's so hard to extract oils from them. So very rarely with the essential oils you'll get pure rose essence, rose oils. It's usually a blend because it's so expensive to get. So there's a lot of elements to the history of the rose. And this particular rose was grown as a single stem rose. So it is grown for a cut flower. So I go back again to our integrity and our values and putting ourselves out there. So what you couldn't look at, Bex, is the understanding of you're there for, similar to the first ladies, you're there for a reason. It's a really particular reason. And even though you have got the ability to do so many different things, there's one particular reason that you are there for. And that's what you can focus on this week. Get that real clear understanding. You've got the skills, the integrity, the time for that particular reason. When you find you're going off tangent, you will find that you won't feel you've got the skills to do it. You won't feel you've got the time to do it, or you may be going against your integrity just slightly. And it could just be that simple switch. As I said, we've got roses. This rose isn't grown for its rose hip, but roses are grown for their rose hip. This rose isn't grown for its oils. Other types of roses are grown for their oils. So you've got this really very distinct reason and aspect behind that, which is all about your values and your skills and your integrity and your time. So get an understanding of that. No, don't get an understanding of that. It sounds horrible. Sorry. Be mindful of that. Be aware of that this week, because it is about self-awareness this week. The other aspect we look at is the knowledge. Okay, so this is about our self-talk, how we communicate. Yours is actually towards a higher area there, more towards the future too. But in all honesty, your self-talk, it can get a little bit lofty, but it's not over the top. It's not like you're going crazy over the world, but just make sure you stay grounded, especially with this particular flower, because it is a cut flower. So it could make you feel a little bit not grounded. So watch your self-talk in that way. Ask, is it grounded? Is that self-talk coming through is grounded? If it's grounded, so there, that's what you need to know. If it isn't, if it's getting a little bit lofty, bring it back down again. Bring it back down to earth and get an understanding of it. Self-honesty is about your personality. Again, it's just about you. There's no other flowers there. Sorry, it's about your personality. It's the size. Sorry, that relationship's the next one. It's about the size of the flower. Now, that size of the flower is a general sizing. It's ambiverted. So, Bex, this is yours, Bex. Sorry, you are number. What number did I give you? 81. I did a random. You are number 81. It's all coming through. Oh, you asked for number 68. I'll do 68 for you. But this one come through for you, Bex. So again, where am I up to? Personality, it's ambiverted. You do not have to be out there. You do not have to be hiding in a cave either. So your self-honesty is who you are. You're happy with it. You know when you need to put it forward and when you need to allow it to be. So you're very, very balanced in that context. Your self-trust this week is about relationships. Again, you have no other relationships there. No, that sounds terrible. You have no other flowers there. The relationships don't need to be there. The relationship is with you this week. It's all about you, okay, getting an understanding of who you are. And that's really about self-awareness. It's very, very true in that context. We will often need that self-trust, that self-awareness from other people to help us get through things. But most of the time, if we connect with ourselves, we can do that. Just sometimes we need a hand, we need help from other people. But for you this week, you don't. You've got this, you've got an understanding of it. So that's yours at number 1, Bex. If I get time, I'm going to do another one for you. 80, you're happy with 81? Okay, cool. Sounds very on point. Okay, cool. That's lovely. Sorry, Bex. I just didn't realize you were, for some reason it wasn't coming through. Melly was coming through as a weird one too. But I will do a randomized one now because if I can see you there and you don't pick a number, I'm going to do a randomized one. This is the practice for me because I haven't done it in public. It's really easy to do it when you're talking to somebody because you pick up other emotions, and I find it really easy. But when you're doing it online like this, it can be really challenging. I'm old, you see. Now, for what am I looking for? Margie, yours is number 98. Okay, so I'm doing a quick random one for you. This is a pretty one. You'll like this, Margie. Oops, I better share it first so you can see it. Okay, here is yours. Let's share this one. I'm going to walk through it again. Oops, I've got new comments. Hang on, sorry. Sounds very... Oh, thanks, Bex. I get tongue-tied sometimes, Bex. I'll just sort of go, whoa, okay, no, this is cool. I probably am a little bit better when it's in a group situation, but online, yeah, you're trying to focus and talk and watch the comments, and it is a bit challenging. Where did this one come up from? See, now this is what's random. That's not the right flower. Oh, maybe I've done it. This is number 98. Okay, so this is yours. Who am I up to, Margie? And we're looking at our self-awareness this week because it's the waxing crescent. And it is all about sowing leaf crops. It is all about health and being supportive. But this week we're talking about self-awareness. So self-respect is the first one. We look at the background of the image and the history of the flower. When you know what the flower is, it's a type of daisy. I don't know all these flowers. I just took pictures because I love them. So values, skills, integrity, time, respect are your core values. We're looking at your core values here. So self-respect here. When we look at the background, we can see it's a blurred background there. So we're seeing that the flower is actually coming in a natural background, whereas some of the others were just a black background. So there was no background. This photo or this picture has been taken in nature. So it's where you are, what you're doing. The plant is actually growing. The flower is growing. It's not cut. It's not styled. It's just there in all its glory. That's what I want you to look at, Margie, with your self-respect for yourself, for your time. You are where you're meant to be. You are living the life you are supposed to be living. You are on point. You are where you need to be at this particular time. And this flower is telling you that. This intuitive flower is saying where you are is perfect. You know, sometimes we feel like we should be there, or we should be there, or we should be doing this, or should be doing that. This is saying, no, where you are is exactly right. And honor that time, honor your skills that you have that have allowed you to get to where you are, because that's what it's all about. You've got such a lot of guidance down the bottom here, very of a physical nature, but you've also got a lot of spiritual guidance here, heaps of spiritual guidance. So know that where you are is where you're meant to be, and honor that. Just respect that physical element to it. Your self-talk is about your knowledge. Again, your flower is in relatively the center of the image. So your self-talk is fine. You're not really having problems. You may feel you are, but in all honesty, you're not having problems. Your self-talk, you may get the little negative coming through, and you sort of go, just allow it to come through. We can have these negative thoughts. They're not bad. They're just acknowledging them, letting them go. You don't have to hold on to them. It's when you're holding on to that self-talk that you need to start going, well, maybe I need to do something about that. Maybe I need to look at it a little bit better. But yours is good. Your mental aspect and your self-awareness is on point. It's really cool. Next part is the emotional side of it. So self-honesty, and we look at the personality. So that's the size of the image. Now, this image, in general, it is, I would say, ambiverted. It's a general size for the actual flower picture. So the subject is okay for the image. However, it is going over here a little bit, which means I would say sometimes you're thinking in the future, and you're sort of thinking that I haven't got time to get everything done. And your personality gets a little bit bigger than what it needs to be. But with this week, in this week, it's about time. You have got time. You might feel like you haven't got time coming up. I've got to get this done, got to get that done. You have got time. You've just got to be a little bit more aware of it. Now, again, the personality isn't big. You don't have to be out there. You don't have to be yelling at everyone, or, this is me, this is me. And you don't have to be hiding in your cage either, in a cave. Just be who you are, where you are. But you have this sense of, I can't get it all done. You will get it all done. Okay, just allow it to happen. What you can't see is this blurry bit in front of you. Okay, this attraction here is blurry. The back part isn't. It's very clear. You understand what you're attracting there, but this front part is blurry. And so you don't understand. You haven't got the whole picture, if that makes sense. So that's why this feels like you haven't got time to do everything. Yes, you've got time. It's going to happen. No problems. Now, as far as self-trust goes in relationships, we have got other flower images. We can sort of see them a bit blurred. That would be more of a spiritual relationship. This is more of a spiritual one. We've got one in the past that is just going off camera, off the image, which is telling us that they've helped you, they've supported you, they've given you that ability to trust, and now they're moving on the way. They're moving to where they need to go. So keep that self-trust. You're right there. Just maybe think about that. There's somebody in the past that has just given you that spiritual understanding of self-trust, and it's like it's coming through like say you had a reading from someone in the past, or say you've learnt some sort of a spiritual understanding, Reiki, something to that effect you've learnt from the past. They're still giving you a little bit more information, but they are moving away. Okay, but there's still there you can call on to help you if you do have any questions about your self-trust, your self-reliance, and that side of things. So that's yours, Margie. Remember, it's self-awareness this week, so you've got that right. Have I done everybody? Oh, hi, Sal. You're up too. Okay, Sal, you're the only one I've got left. I think I've done everybody's. I've done Janine's, I've done Margie's, I've done Beck's, Mel, did I do yours? Number 23. Let me have a look at the image. I can tell you then. Yes, I did yours. Whoops, sorry. All right, Sal, I'm waiting for you. I need a number, or do you want me to do a random one for you? Because I've got to go. I've got to get some work done. Although I really enjoy doing this. It's so much more fun. Okay. All right, I'm doing you a random one. 73, Sal. You watch. A number will come through now. Oh, wait till you see this one. So I don't know. It's this one. Oh, number 3. You want number 3? Okay. All right. Lucky, because I think you would have laughed if you saw 73. That's for sure. I'm going to start. I'm going to start moving these around a bit now. Moving the numbers around. Okay. Share the screen. Here you go, Sal. Here's yours. Have you had this one before? All right, let's get into this one. Because this one's quite interesting. I don't quite know if it was my flower, although I took so many of them when I was writing the book, so I'm not sure, but it must be one of mine. But this one's a really interesting flower because I don't see it as very appealing. This flower to me is not very appealing, and yet it brings through so much information. It's quite surprising. So we're looking at self-awareness this week. As you know, it's the new moon's come through. We've been into the waxing crescent, which is all about health goals. We're sowing leaf crops this week. If you're putting any plants in, although I don't think you will be in Tassie, but self-awareness. So we're looking at self-respect in the physical aspect. And when we look at that, we're looking at the background of the image and the history of the flower. If we don't know what the flower is, we don't have to worry about the history. But what I want to focus on this one is the background of the image, because I've got this really strange thing happening here. Now, I have talked about this before. Still don't quite understand what it was. I think it might have been a photo, and maybe that's a window frame, but I'm not sure. But all I can see is there's this really distinct line through the background there. And it's almost like we're saying, you stop there. You're not going any further. That's it. It's like a boundary. Okay. So when we look at your self-respect and we look at values and skills and integrity and time, you've got to make sure you've got those boundaries up. Or have you got too strong a boundary up? That's what you need to be aware of. We do need to have our boundaries and we need to have the flexibility with it. But I'm picking up with this one is you've got to have a strong boundary in your background. Now, it's like there is somebody you've known, people you've known, there's experiences that you've had. It's all in the past type thing. But you've got to make sure that background is, that boundary is there. It needs to be quite strong. It needs to be quite firm. They step over the boundary. They need to know what the consequences are. Now, in all honesty, it doesn't look like the consequences are anything in particular. Like it's not going to be dangerous or anything like that. It's just more about you being aware of them, people crossing those boundaries and how you feel about that. Because when you're allowing them to cross those boundaries, it's actually digging into your self-respect, into your skills, into your integrity. It is affecting your core values. All right. So we don't want that to happen. You need to be mindful that that is what it can result in. So if I was looking at somebody in the past, or for example, say family, because they're in the past, but they're here all the time, but there's people that we've grown up with all the way along, we still need to have boundaries with our family as well. There's still those boundaries that we need to keep, to honor ourselves, to make sure we can sit there and give ourselves self-respect. So be mindful of your boundaries on that one. Self-talk is self-talk is about the knowledge. So where the flower is, it is slightly to the right. So we sort of going, it's coming into the future, but I would say by the end of the week, it is all coming in. Now, when we're looking about the knowledge and it's the self-talk, again, I'm sort of bringing in your self-talk seems to be okay, but you do question, there's things that you are questioning. So in your self-talk, as you start to question those things, the answer is going to come in. It'll be coming in before the end of the week. Whereas with Mally's, it was definitely next week. But this week, as you're starting to do that self-talk, you're going to get the understanding and the awareness of it later this week, okay? Because it's only slightly to the front, slightly to the future. So yeah, that's all coming through, and you're not going to have any problems there. There's not going to be any problems there for sure. Emotional self-honesty. We're looking at the personality, which is the size of the image. Don't be too out there this week, Sal. But don't be too quiet either. You need to have your voice heard, but you don't need to be. There's different ways to express it. Okay, you need to have your voice heard, but you could say it in a text, in an image, like on social media. You don't have to necessarily be up there and in front of everyone and sort of demanding attention. That's not what it's about. But it's about still allowing your voice to be heard or your presence to be seen. It is still about you being honest about how you feel, about what you're experiencing, about where you're going. So still be open and honest, but you don't have to be really strong and out there. An example would be, okay, this comes forward. I mean, we've just gone through all this situation with America and what they're experiencing with the abortion aspect. So anything like that, I can see you saying you have an opinion, you have a voice, but you don't have to be putting it all out there on social media saying, how bad they are, and or how good they are, whatever your views are. It's still having one and being honest with yourself, but not necessarily having to express it to everyone. So that's how I see that. Sorry, that was a scenic route. Took the long way around then. Whew. Last one is spiritual, is about self-trust, and it's about relationships. Now, you've got a couple of colors down here. They're not strong relationships, but they're those blurred sort of an image. So when we look at that and the trustworthy stuff, there's going to be little messages you're going to get from physical people, not spirit message. This is more from physical. And it's like you might see a post on Facebook and you get a little bit of an aha moment that allows you to go, that's how I feel. And you build more trust in yourself. You might have somebody saying something to you like I am now. So I'm a physical person, but what I'm saying isn't exactly correct, but you get the understand of it. So it's sort of this blurred area. So although I talked about abortion rights, just before, it might not be that you're thinking of. So, but you understand the concept behind it. So these images down here, or these colors down here, are probably more about the concept that is allowing you to trust how you feel, allowing you to trust yourself a little bit more. There's not a lot, and it is coming in. If you think that's halfway through the picture, it is coming into the future. So towards the end of the week, you're starting to get a better understanding of that. So that's about your self-trust. Oh, that was a big one, Sal. Yes. So Now, I'm just going to quickly read through the messages. So Sal's got actually got a lot of bulbs implanted this week. Good, because bulbs are good to go in this week. Although next week would have been better to put your flowers in. But anyway, that's okay. You'll get the leaves up nicely. Now I'm really curious about 73. Oh, you don't want to see 73, Sal? Do you really want to see 73? No, you don't want to see 73. Let's leave it at that. Anyone else want to pop a number in between 1 and 100? And I will give you a quick flower reading if you would like. I think I've done everybody's. Yeah, it looks like I've done everybody's. I did Mel's, did Janine's, did Margie's, did Beck's. Yeah, Sal's. I'll quickly show you, Sal, what it looked like, 73 looked like. You're going to be blown away with this one because this is so not you, but it would be so cool. All right, hang on, let me show you. This little flower I took when I was walking up in the mountains, and it's just like this little weed on the side of the hill, and I just loved it. I didn't have my tripod, so everything went blurry in the background, but I've got this beautiful little yellow face looking at me. It's like, oh, here I am. And I took a picture of that. So that was number 73. I'm not going to do a reading on that because you had enough in your other one. The bulbs can wait till next week. Yes, leave the bulbs till next week. Next week, it's all about your fruits and flowers. So plant your bulbs next week. Don't plant them this week if you haven't already. All right, well, that's it for me today. No one else has got another number for me. This week's podcast. Oh, the gentleman I've got on this week, Sal, you're going to love this guy. The gentleman I've got on this week has got one of those. He's a shaman, a Nordic shaman, big man with this big grey beard, and he's got the deepest voice. I could just listen to his voice all day. He's got that beautiful deep voice, and he talks about culture and ancestors. So he talks about Odin and his ancestors and the culture and things like that. That's on this week on Thursday. So that is really cool. I've also got a public flower reading. No worries, Sal. I've got a public flower reading coming up at Ohana's on the Gold Coast. That is in August. The first Friday in August, I think. First Saturday in August. Let me have a look. Yes, Saturday the 6th at 2 p.m. I have got, where's my, whoops, now I'm lost. Where am I there? 2 p.m. I have got the first public flower reading that, oh gosh, I haven't done it for a long time. The last one was in Rainbow Beach, which was a year or two ago. So this is the first one on the Gold Coast. It's $65 a head. You get a glass of wine, I think, and some snacks. So it's like a paint and sip, but we do it about your goals. And that's the first one coming up. So I'm really excited about that. I've done quite a few private ones. I know, Sal, woohoo. I've done quite a few private ones, but this is the first public one where, you just come in, you book and you come in. So I'm going to get all the details on that, and then I'll put that in too. But I haven't got that done, the event done yet. But that should be really exciting. Sip and paint, we create our own goals. We start to look at those and we take home a beautiful piece of artwork that you made intuitively. So that would be really exciting. So let me know if you're interested in that, and I can send you the details on our very first public one on the Gold Coast. Woohoo! So it's definitely too far for you to come, Sal. But I am doing virtual ones too. So the virtual workshops that I'm doing, when I know how many people are in the virtual workshops, I actually send the pack. So you get your paints, your paintbrushes, and your paper, not just a paper, but a pack of papers, so you can do as many as you want. I send them out to all the people that are going to be in the virtual workshop, and then we do it that way. Because I have done a virtual workshop before, but everybody used their own pencils, and you couldn't see when you held up the paperwork like that. You couldn't see the pictures. So I do it now where I actually send you everything that you need. And then when we do it together, I can actually see the images when you hold them up on the screen. So yes, virtual workshops are really fun. But anyway, that's me. I'm talking too much. I've got some work to do. Lovely to catch up with you, Sal. Lovely. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Share, like, don't subscribe because you don't know how to. There is a subscription on this one. But thank you for being there. Thanks, guys. I am saying goodbye. Hang on, where's my little branding there? Saying goodbye, and I'll see you next week. Bye.